Hey everyone, it's Tracy with Redesign Company, and I have another layout for us to look at together. This was sent to me, someone found it on Reddit, and the comments just kind of blew up with, oh my gosh, why did they do this? Why did they do that? I have no idea who did the original plan. It was not labeled for that, so I have no idea. This is for educational purposes because I feel like everything can be improved. Everything we do, we're just taking a puzzle and rearranging it. So there are some things that I like about this plan and some things that I don't, but I wanted to see what I could do to improve the things that I didn't like. So I did a screen recording of me drafting this, the main level. It's 2 stories, so main level is going to be part 1 and the upstairs is going to be part 2. So let's get into it, and I'll pause it as we go along. This is 4 hours and 15 minutes condensed into an hour, but we're not going to sit here that long. So first glance, this is it, the main level. It seems like a pretty big house. Total, there are 4 bedrooms. There's only 1 main bathroom on the first floor, and then a master bathroom. There's somewhat of a pantry, a very small utility. The kitchen's okay, I think. So let's see here. I'll zoom in. It's a reference display of the second floor. So if we take a look here, entry, stairs obviously to the second floor. This is actually a hall, and there's a closet right here, which you can't see. So they have this right here as a living and optional library, and I labeled this exactly how they labeled it just so you could see. And I drafted things the way that they had them also. So like sink placement over here. This was here. So a lot of people in Reddit, they were complaining about this right here. You have to go through the dining room to get to the master or primary bedroom. So, and I kind of agreed with people. I thought that was a little weird. So I wanted to try to fix that. This over here, I thought it could work just fine. Let me move this out of the way. Has a window, of course. So, you know, they could make that a bedroom if they wanted to, if you were to keep it closed off like that. So, but I wanted to just add something here to open that up a little bit. We'll keep looking here. The master suite primary bedroom is actually pretty big. It's 16'8" by 12'8". I thought the window here was a little weird. So if we just pause it there, because really the only thing you're going to see is your garage, I guess. So they had a lot of these little double doors too, which I thought was kind of weird. And this whole area had no dimensions at all, so I just had to go off of these other measurements here. It had a huge closet. I mean, just a massive closet. This is a tub and a water closet there. If we keep scooting up. So I felt it was really interesting that the main floor bathroom was clear over here. So unless you go to the master bathroom, which nobody's going to want to do that, you have to come all the way over here to use the bathroom. So I thought that was a little strange. They also had this exterior door here with the door swing going that way. Pantry, I guess. This was so small. I don't know how an adult would even fit in there. I guess you'd have to have your kids go in there or something. I'm not really sure, but it was pretty small. They also had like really small cabinets here. It's a water heater. It really didn't look like there was any place for a furnace. I think they have it in the second story attic. If I had to guess, there was a spot there for that. So If we keep looking around, so they called this here a dinette, but between this little pantry thing and then this door to this porch, by the time, I feel like if you had a table here and people around it, you're gonna have very little room to navigate unless you crammed a little table right up against this wall. So that kind of bothered me a lot. And then we go on to the family room, which I thought was fine. This here is also a raised bar. I thought the kitchen was actually very well done, so I pretty much left it alone and then just made it look nice in the end. So this is a fireplace here. So what do you guys think first glance? Is it weird to you also, as it is to me? But yeah, that's the plan I'm going to redesign here. So I'm probably going to fast forward some. There's the second story. So right here is the second story, and this is what I'm going to show you in another video. So it's showing a reference display, so the red is actually the main level, and it's showing you how these walls line up. So that kind of let me know on the first floor what walls I'm going to keep because they're likely load bearing and which walls I'm going to just blow out. So in this case, you can see these rooms here all lined up with the lower level, the main level. So right here on the original plan, it had this door, and this is a closet, which I thought this was really strange too. Again, that'll be part 2. But right here, they implied that there's possibly another water heater and maybe a furnace. So, but other than that, there was no other room for mechanical stuff, which I thought was weird. So we'll keep going though. And the rest of this, so here's where I start to rebuild it. My goal was to create a hallway for the master bedroom. As you can see, I deleted this door. I thought, okay, what I would like to do is move this bedroom and put it up where that bathroom was at. And then put the bathroom lower so that it's easier to access for everybody. Because if I had a bedroom, I wouldn't want it, I guess, right by the utility. So here's where I started to, right here, if I could pause. Okay, so this is where I'm trying to work out how I'm going to do this. And I actually started on, I printed this out and started it on paper and tried to sketch it out. How am I going to redo this? So I had to do that before I could do it here because it made it a little easier. So what I did here, I wanted the bathroom and the utility to be back to back, and the bedroom, like I said, further up, and the closet there. I was hoping I could fit another closet to the hallway this way, but I couldn't, so that door goes away soon. I also got rid of the door that was here, and I put a slider because I just felt like there wasn't, this right here is such an awkward space that by the time you have people sitting there and an exit, and I understand there's a covered porch there, so maybe there's a better option to have a door in the family room, the living room. So, but this is me rearranging this area. And I've also, if you've already noticed, I created a hallway right there. I blew up the master bathroom, which is here. So, and I got rid of the weird little hallway thing in the dining room to get to the bedroom. So I wanted this to have its own entry away from all the other areas. So I put a hallway in. And now the bathroom, I deleted the tub and just gave a really big shower with a bench. The closet's not near as big. It's still pretty big though. It's still a walk-in closet. I added this water closet here because I feel like when you say it's in the middle of the night and you need to go to the bathroom, it's easier if it's like right there, and then you can just wash your hands and then go back to sleep. So that's my reasoning for that. And anyway, I continue to just tweak this as I go. So and I wanted these to be color coded, but I learned the hard way earlier when I uploaded this video that even if you record something and you're color coding it and you've exported it, uploaded it, all of that, because of the green screen behind me, anything that I had green, it turned it black. So I had to redo all of that. So yeah, learning the hard way is not fun. Right here, what I'm doing, I'm reworking this utility room. I wanted it to be bigger, and I wanted the water heater to have its own place. So I made this extra little closet back here. This bathroom is basically like a 9x5, or 9 foot by something, by 5. I just made it a normal size bathroom, but I wanted to try to have some space here for pantry, for kitchen storage, since there's really nowhere else to put that, I guess. And so that's just me working on the bathroom. And I actually ended up flipping it. I did this a 2x6 wall to vent the dryer properly. But I felt like it'd be easier. You've got the water heater right there and then a lot of plumbing right here. So but it's a lot of fine tuning when you're drafting, and just like the cabinet sizes and the overall size of these rooms, and moving the doors and just making it more functional. That's my goal. And if we're going to center something, like I ended up centering this door from the garage, and I move things around, and it's a lot of tweaking, and oh, should I have a wall there? Should I not have a wall there? So but that's why it's important to do it on the computer and have a plan for when you do remodel. So here I'm trying to figure out, is it worth making it bigger? And I'm like, I don't think so, because now I'm not going to have room for cabinets here. So I eventually put that back because I wasn't happy with that. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit more. And I defaulted all of my cabinets to what I wanted it to look like to make it easier. And then, so there I am trying to just add more cabinets, and there I centered the door eventually. So that way, like when you come in from the garage, you're not just walking into this little tiny room. Got rid of that, made it a doorway. So that's where I got rid of that weird little hallway from the dining to the master bedroom. And you have to let me know if you like this better. I mean, if it was my house, I'd rather This, I did have to make the master bathroom smaller, but it's give and take. That's what you got to do sometimes. So here's more fine tuning. Do we center the door from here to here or not? Do we push it this way? Ultimately, I centered it this way. And yeah, I think it looked better that way. Another thing you could do a sliding door that has towel racks on it. Because the only complaint I would have would be, where do we put towels? And you could put one maybe there and maybe one right there. So that was the only thing I didn't care for when I redesigned this, but I would probably end up doing a sliding door with towel racks on it. And that would solve that problem. So more color coding that I couldn't use. So now we've moved over to the other side of the house. I think if it were me, I'd want this opened up. I think it's important to have ways around, good walkways. So, and you could still use this as an office or a library or a quiet space if you wanted to. It's just more fine tuning, so I'm going to fast forward here. And then I get into the kitchen, so here's some views of what I ended up with on the pantry storage. And then I kind of was doing a very simple walkthrough there. See what it does on my screen? I don't know if you can see that, but it's black. So that's why I had to cut out some of that stuff. So, but you learn the hard way. So here I'm trying to just place for size. This is a king size bed. If you notice, I deleted that window that was in the corner by the garage. I thought that was really weird. And you could still put in another window that's on the other exterior wall in the center. Here's a queen size bed. I would say for this size room, you'd be better off maybe with a twin. It'd make a good kid's bedroom. But there's where the window was before. But it makes it so you have a lot of wall space to use. And I'm just trying to find different furniture pieces for size. And Chief Architect doesn't have a ton of furniture, so you kind of just have to use what you can use. There are downloads from like, what's it called? 3D Warehouse. But I didn't do that for this sake. I mostly wanted to focus on getting the master bathroom to look really cool. Wasn't in love with that dining room set, but I used it anyway. And I wanted to make the kitchen look really good. And I just kind of played around with finishes. So I'm going to fast forward here. On this, because they have the cooktop in the corner, what I did is I used an island range hood. So it would mount to the ceiling anyway. I thought that was a good solution for that. And I'm just trying to space it there. So this is more just adding the fireplace, more kitchen stuff. So it's a very long process to get to the finish line. A lot of tweaking. But I kind of felt like this was I really liked this kitchen. And they did a raised bar, which is fine. You could do one level if you wanted to also. So here I was trying to decide, I wasn't happy with that right there. I could have made the cabinet bigger, but instead I actually went up all the way with the tile. It's important too, I don't know if there's a good shot, if you're gonna have, say you're gonna have like crown molding on your cabinets, it's important that they dive into the wall properly, so you don't want them sticking out weird. That's really not a good idea, but I'll show you what I'm talking about later. Here I was trying to see what I could come up with on the stairs, and again, excuse me, these are all defaulted wall colors, so the second story I haven't colored it yet, but I was just trying to work through the floor, and oh, I could do two-tone on the stairs, and so that's just me coloring that. And I changed the floor a lot, I changed that a lot. I went through a lot of carpets until I found a pattern that I created a while back that I really liked. We'll see if there it is, which I thought it was really nice. I thought it looked good. But like even with the materials, you see me tweaking the materials. You have to do that with all of it, depending on the camera view. And again, just like the last video I did of a layout, this is a standard camera, so it's like your Sims game, video game camera. It's very simple. It's not going to really render a lot of shiny or matte or anything realistic. It's kind of realistic, but not super realistic. And I don't start flipping over to the physical camera, the one that renders really well, like lifelike. Oh, there's a spot I could tell you. I don't flip over to that camera until the very end. So right here, if you could see that, that's what I was talking about. So I got rid of that little pantry that was there, or the closet, whatever that was. And I left this wall the same size that it was, but I didn't want my molding to go beyond that. So just little details like that, I think will really make or break a plan. And you have to be aware of that stuff. Otherwise, your plan's going to look bad. And eventually I changed this countertop. It's Cambria. I love Cambria. That one's a little stripy. So here I am going through a lot of different countertops to see what I like. And I think I decided on that one eventually. But yeah, we'll fast forward some more. I thought, oh, what if we did a dark one? I didn't like that. So it's a lot of tweaking. So then I go back to the other rooms. This is the little hall bath. So what I did in here, I ended up doing wall sconces, single sconces on either side of the mirror. I thought that would look really good, instead of just doing one overhead. Sometimes that gets kind of boring after a while. So that's what that looks like. Something different, a little arch mirror, and I created that mirror actually in Chief Architect. And then eventually I'll change the backsplash to the countertop material. I thought it would look better. So yeah, a lot of little details, you guys. It takes a while. And again, this is a whole main level, so it would take a while if it's the whole house. And then I will do the second floor because I think it could be better also. So it's just more fine tuning. So let's see here, and that's the master bathroom. So here again, I was playing around with countertops and like, what are we gonna do for the side splash? And eventually what I do is on top of this ledge and on top of the curb, I do the quartz material. That's what I'm doing there. Doing a curb. And it looks really pretty. And what I'll probably do is flip over to Chief Architecture when we're done flipping through this here. So there I started to do a curb, and I'll change all this material because I didn't like it. I do like the countertop material, but the tile that's in there, I changed it because it just defaulted to that. But I loved the countertop. I thought it was really pretty. And you'll see me in these videos using a lot of neutral colors, and that's just because I don't want anything to be overpowering. I just want everything to be cohesive is all. I want it to complement everything else. So and then I'm tweaking the bench, and I ended up making my own tile for the walls. That's not it there. But I love Subway. I think it's a classic material to use, and I don't think it ever goes out of style. But for this, I wanted a different kind of Subway. And here I'm just sizing the wall height. And I ended up at 7 feet. For this main level, I just left everything at 8 foot. I have no idea what the original plan called for. It didn't say, so I just kept it really simple. And what I wanted to do is make sure over here I came over, because you're going to have glass right there that needs to dive into the tile. And eventually I just keep tweaking all of this. That's the tile that I'm making. It's a little bit different Subway. I ended up at a 4x12. And then here I am making my own shower drain. This is actually a Schluter floral drain. I always really liked this drain, and I made my own. So there's a shower drain. But it just goes to show what you can do here and how much detail you can put in. But right here, so side splash, backsplash, I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to treat that since I have this on the ledge? And I ended up doing the tile, the 4x12s. And I added a wall niche there. That's what this is. Now, what I wanted to do here, so if you're really picky like I am, I want things to line up, and I said that in my last video. So I brought this to the top of this row of tiles, or bottom, top and bottom, whatever, so that it lines up. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just lining it up. And I made it taller, and then I'm going to add shelves to it, and I'm going to make the frame out of quartz. I could have done the wall tile, but then I go on to add the little shelves too. And wall niches are nice because for the most part you can make them just about any size as long as the framing allows for it, and it could be reframed too. And I could have added some on the big wall, but I just didn't for this one. So just tweaking the shelves there. But this is the amount of time it takes and the amount of work it takes for drafting. And it's not just drafting. I mean, this is rendering it in real time too. It's modeling it as I'm drafting things. So, but all of these things matter. And if I were to do this in an actual plan, then all of those dimensions would be specified, and I would pull all of those. So here's where I was trying to figure out, what do I do there? And I'm going to fast forward here. So I ended up just doing the same tile. And maybe it's too much tile, I don't know. But I was okay with it at the end, so. So I want to fast forward to I also added a rain head in the bathroom. You can see it there. And eventually I start putting lights in, like chandelier, other pendant lights. And I do that so when I'm doing my physical rendering camera, it lights it up realistically. So just fine tuning the lights there. I thought it would be kind of cool to have a cluster pendant above the sink. There's a lot of open space there. But then I thought the sink was too small, so I made it bigger. But yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think of this plan. If you like mine better, if you don't, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I have really thick skin, so. But I felt like there were good things about this plan and not so good things. And I think that goes with any plan. If you're trying to remodel, there's only so much you can do. So if you can improve just 10% of it, I think you're ahead. And so here I'm flipping back and forth between my standard camera and my physical camera, just tweaking that. And you can really start to see it come to life with the windows, the daytime lighting coming through the windows. So just trying to pan around. Let's see here. And then I was like, I think it'd be kind of cool to do some lights under the range hood as if it had its own lights. So I just did a polyline, turned it into rope lights, and then adjusted the rope lights and set it to the right height. And then I was just trying to see. So that's what it looks like there. And as I said in my last video, when I was going over a layout, with the physical camera, I have to denoise it, which that's what you're seeing there. It's staticky, but then I have to go in and denoise it so that it comes to life. And normally I would place these a little more precisely, but I just wanted to get some more lights in there for the camera's sake. And so I had to bump up my number of lights because there were just not enough. It's like some turn on and some don't, but I wanted them all to turn on. I'm going to keep going here. I also added some stone on the fireplace. Would you do a different material? Do you like the stone? You'll have to tell me what you guys think. And I've learned with YouTube, the more people share your stuff and like and comment, the more YouTube puts you into their algorithm for people to find you. So I don't have a ton of subscribers right now, and that's okay. I didn't expect to have very many right now. But yeah, if you like, share, all of that fun stuff, that helps out a lot. So it's getting to the end where I'm just fine-tuning stuff and I'm just adding more lights. I'm making sure my countertops look polished. There's a look at the bathroom. I changed the floor. And I'm really just trying to get it to look really good. There's a lot of settings too. I ended up changing these vanity lights because originally I had them pointing up, which is not really good if you're trying to use your sink and get ready. And so I picked some different ones out so that they were pointing down. And do you guys like this cabinet on the countertop there? Or would you just as soon not have it? So that's the different fixtures. But it just kind of goes to show the amount of detail we can go to. if you are able to pick things out, just like I said in the previous videos, hardware, lighting, fixtures, all of that stuff matters to your design and to your space and how you're going to use it. And you know, some of you may hate that, and that's fine. It's not for you then. But here we go down the hallway. And I think at the very end, after I got done placing lights, I thought, I could probably add some shelving in here, which I ended up doing. But it's like the more I look at it, the more stuff I want to add, which I think is fine. So here I am. And then I switched these two around. I don't know if y'all have a preference, if you'd rather have the dryer on the other side, but the door appears to open this direction. So there I am adding shelves. Which I thought would be nice to have. And maybe some of you wouldn't use those. Maybe you'd rather have shorter cabinets. I will say one thing when it comes to lighting we don't think about is adding one above your tub. I think a lot of people have like exhaust fans with a light, and sometimes that's not bright enough, especially for older people. They need to be able to see, obviously. So don't overlook that. If you can add a light above your tub, then I would certainly do that. So it's kind of towards the end here. I think where I'm just kind of placing more lights so that it lights up. And then I kind of walk through really fast. That's the standard camera. Then I decided by the front door maybe we could use some sconces there. So I added a couple there. Now this entry actually opens to the second story, so it's actually very tall. See? Then I'm just kind of checking last minute stuff. I noticed there was like no trim for some reason right here. Little things like that drive me crazy, and that's kind of a chief issue. Sometimes their wall intersections don't work very well, and it's because I have what we call a room divider coming up to a half wall, and for whatever reason it doesn't want to put a piece of trim there. So stuff like that drives me nuts, so I had to put a little piece of trim right there. So there's kitchen. It's a little grainy there. And it takes a second to denoise it. So then I just kind of try to walk around, and so there's the entry. So I think it's a really pretty entryway. I had no issues with that. I think these would be kind of cool if they were stone to match the fireplace. So a lot of light there. I think that's really pretty. There's the hallway and the closet that you can't see. The staircase was not fun to try to draw, but I got it. And for some reason I couldn't get that light fixture to light up. I don't know why. It's just very dim for some reason, even though I bumped up the lumens on it. You can't even tell. I think I had it at like 1200 lumens, and I don't know why. It just didn't want to light up very well. So, but then we go into the kitchen. So yeah, you'll have to tell me what y'all think about it. I think this was a really fun one to do, and hopefully I made it better. I feel like I did, and it's like I said, it's give and take in a remodel. Unless you're going to add on to your house, then that's obviously easier. But a lot of people can't do that. So if you want one space to be better, then you sometimes have to take it from another space. So yeah, let's see. Just more tweaking of lights. There's the bathroom, which I think it turned out really pretty. And again, it's going warp speed, so I understand if you can't see everything. And this, like I said, this was 4 hours, and that doesn't include the time I spent working on the as-built. So here we have before, and here we have mine, the after. So you'll have to pause and look at this, but you can really see the differences. And like I said, hopefully I made it better. You have to let me know what you think. But this to me didn't make sense. This didn't make sense to me. The bathroom was kind of awkward, and this closet was huge, which is nice, but I think it could have been made better. So that's what I did over here. And let's see, I don't know, there's do you guys like the way the bedroom is more up here? If we were to pause it, instead of having this bathroom way over here for everybody to use, it's a little further down. Would you even have an exterior door there, or would you rather it be there or somewhere else? Hopefully I did it justice. I think we did. Yeah, well, thanks for watching, guys. That's what I have for you today. And just keep watching, and we'll get through these plans, and I'll post a part 2 to show you what I did with the upstairs. And I can't wait to blow that one up. It's pretty awkward, I think. So this is Tracy with Weaver Design Company, and thank you for watching.